August 26 till September 9. And we've got the Voyager deck here with the extended reading using the holographic mandala spread. As I mentioned, you have quite a few repeating cards from the previous spread. You've got the star card as you had before. You have the moon here. There's a really beautiful feeling here of you moving more into a space of emotional fulfillment, or discovering more through the experience that you're going through, which is, as I said, leading me to believe that you've been in a situation which is a little bit not quite right for you, as if information has come to light that is making you kind of move in a sort of direction away from an environment or a situation that you've been in. And what the cards here are talking about is, at the foundation you have the card called Passion in this deck, which is the Ten of Cups. And being that that's the foundation that all the cards are resting on, it kind of leads me to believe that you're in a process now of learning to understand better what it is that actually is more interesting and exciting for you to do in your life, that leads it to a greater sense of fulfillment and activates your passion, whether that's your work or your social circle or your relationships. You have the moon card here as well in the spread. It's at the crossing card in the center of the reading. In the previous spread, you had it here in this position of your environment. So it's saying here that your challenge now is to really listen to what's coming through in your intuition, and listen to the impulses that you're getting through your dreams or through your feelings, through your emotions, and really pay attention to that, and let those impulses be guiding forces for you, so that you can make more clear decisions and be more kind of empowered in directing your energy in a better way, so that you're not just kind of making decisions or taking on certain roles or tasks in life that you feel like you should, but rather you are embarking on a period now of transitioning and changing into some other form of embodied balanced person that's kind of following your gut instinct more than just like doing what you think you should do, if that makes sense. So on the central axis of the reading, you've got here the Chariot in reverse, the Child of Crystals, which is the Page of Swords in the Rider-Waite deck, crossed by the moon, and in the outcome position you have this card which is called Balance. It's from the Major Arcana, and it's what's strength in most other decks. And you had the strength here in the previous reading as well. So again, I would say having the Chariot in reverse here and coming through the reading into this position of strength, it feels like, you need to understand a little bit more about how to activate your will and be more in the driver's seat, and activated more from the will center to drive things forward in a way that's much more in alignment with your true nature. Again, you have the Star card in this reading, as you had in the Hopes and Fears position in the previous spread. In this spread, it's in the position of you. This is an extension of the card that's at the center of the reading. And it's alongside of the Devil in reverse. The Child of Crystals in the center of the reading is, as I said, the Page of Swords. And being that this card is in the reverse position, it could say again that like what you've been going through, or what you've been in, is something that you're maybe making a U-turn from. So that energy of like the pages or the child cards in this deck is that energy of new beginnings, like that sort of youthful, excited, enthusiastic, fresh energy of bringing a new project into being, or a new chapter. And having the star in reverse with Devil's Play in this deck, it kind of says to me that what your hopes and fears and your let's say it does sort of feel like your optimism and your hopefulness has been a little bit tested, and perhaps there's a feeling of, like, you know, a little bit of disappointment at, like, maybe what you've discovered about some people is making you feel a little bit bummed out. You know, because you had the Death card with the Moon here, and, you know, I was talking about how maybe some information came to light that's made you realize that what you were pursuing is not quite right for you, and maybe that's, you know, it's kind of like giving you a feeling of people aren't all they're cracked up to be, or they weren't what you thought they were, or they're not who they presented themselves to be. Yeah, you've got here also, in this position here, this quadrant is about energy around you, your environment. And these 4 cards here are all major arcana. In this quadrant you have Temperance in reverse with the Magician. In this deck it's called Art. But it's essentially about just being that calm, quiet, balanced person that can sort of channel universal life force energy through you to create with the Magician. So I think coming from these 2 cards with the Star and Devil in reverse, and moving into the Magician and Temperance, it's sort of guiding your energy forward in an optimistic way to overcome disappointment and realize that you have a lot more magic at play that is helping drive you in a direction that's much more in alignment, as I said, with your true nature. And at the top of the spread you've got the Sage of Cups and the Man of Cups. Both of them are in reverse, but I don't see this as a negative thing. You have also the 8 of Worlds in this deck. It's called Change, also in reverse. This card relates to the 8 of Pentacles, which you had earlier as well in reverse. So again, it would sort of reinforce that something that you were working on it's either a path that you were pursuing that maybe you've changed your mind about, or perhaps a project you were working on that is not coming to fruition in the way that you'd hoped or in the way that you had imagined, and you're changing direction, you're changing your path. But having this card here together with the Man of Cups just says to me that, you know, you're moving in a direction that's going to be much more emotionally satisfying. In the position of your hopes and fears, you have the 5 of Swords, 5 of Crystals in reverse, with the 2 of Crystals. And again, this could kind of suggest that there's been some uncertainty. The crystals represents the element of air, which talks about ideas and thoughts and, you know, the mind, basically. So seeing the 5 here in reverse with the 2 in reverse would kind of suggest that, yeah, you're needing to change your mind, or you're needing to purify your mind to get more clarity so that you can swivel and change direction and move into a sense of more emotional fulfillment, and come out of a situation that was not as exciting or as fruitful as it had first felt like when you began the undertaking. I get the feeling for some of you that you may have been working on a project with other people, and it could suggest here that since you've got the Art card with the Magician, that you might decide to go on your own path and start your own project on your own, and maybe build your own team eventually. But for now, it feels like some of you could be just deciding that you're going to leave behind a work project or a work environment or a group activity or a social circle, and kind of go off and do your own thing. And that is a little bit scary perhaps, and makes you feel maybe a little bit hesitant or reluctant because there's obviously a lot more at stake when you're the only person and you take all the responsibility. But the outcome cards are suggesting that that will give you a lot more emotional fulfillment. Yeah, and reward too. At the top of the deck you have the Ten of Worlds, which in this card is called reward. It relates to the Ten of Pentacles in the Rider-Waite deck. So it suggests, you know, emotional fulfillment, financial fulfillment and satisfaction, stability, abundance, success, financial success. So, you know, your energy that you put into your own project will bring reward, financial reward. At the bottom of the deck you have the Hangman again, which you had in the first spread too. So again, it would sort of suggest that on some level you perhaps are aware already that you need to make a sacrifice or make a decision, or accept that things are shifting and you may need to sacrifice and let go of something that you've been working on in order to find a greater sense of satisfaction in your emotional and mental state. So, yeah, there's a feeling here of needing to regenerate and restore some energy, restore some emotional balance in yourself as a result of recent events and activities. And also restore some sense of optimism and hopefulness, perhaps since a situation that you've been involved in was a little disappointing. And maybe people that you've been working with have also kind of maybe revealed some things about themselves that are, you know, doesn't match your own value system. And using the power of your intuition and your emotional, intuitive knowing, your gut instinct, to move forward in decisions that what may not be easy, but you know that will bring you a greater sense of satisfaction in life, both financially and emotionally. Okay, Sag, that's your higher octave reading for this cycle. I hope that was helpful. I'll put the link for the previous reading in the description box with this one so that you can keep both of them together and watch them again in a week's time so that you can get a little bit more information as some events unfold. And I'll see you in the next cycle. Thanks for watching.